God's chosen ones. 7 signs you're a rare multidimensional chosen one. It's a powerful gift. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and felt an aching pull in your chest? A whisper from the stars that you belong somewhere else? Have you ever walked through a crowded city street, surrounded by thousands, and yet felt more alone than if you stood on a distant planet? Have you ever dreamed so vividly of worlds unknown, of faces you've never seen but somehow loved, only to wake up with tears streaming down your cheeks, mourning a life you can't quite remember? What if the reason life has always felt just a little too small for you, just a little too heavy, is because you were never meant to fit inside it? What if the things you've always chalked up to imagination, to madness, to sensitivity, are actually sacred memories leaking through the cracks of this reality? Imagine for a moment that your spirit is not anchored solely to this earth, but stretched across dimensions, stitched through realms of light and sound that defy human comprehension. Picture yourself as a traveler moving silently between galaxies, your soul wearing countless faces, speaking countless tongues, carrying wisdom older than the stones of the earth itself. In the quiet spaces between your breaths, you have felt it. The vibration of something vast, ancient, and infinite, echoing through your very blood. A remembrance too deep for words, a longing too profound for reason. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are multidimensional. Above you, entire galaxies swirl in impossible, majestic spirals, painting the heavens with stories too grand for mortal eyes. Below your feet, the ground hums with the resonance of old prayers, whispered by countless ancestors who walked this earth before you, searching, aching, remembering. And here you stand, chosen one, suspended between the dust of earth and the fire of the stars, at the intersection of the sacred and the seen. The thin veil between worlds trembles before your awakening. Every beat of your heart, every breath you take, carries the secret signature of a soul not confined to a single lifetime, a single body, a single place. You were not born simply to survive. You were born to awaken, to remember, to reforge the forgotten bridges between what is seen and what has been hidden. Your presence here is not random. It is written across constellations. And now, the great remembering begins. Not everyone hears the call, but you always have. Not everyone hears the call. Not everyone feels the hum of the unseen vibrating through their bones, or senses the silent pull of a destiny written long before breath filled their lungs. But you, chosen one, you have heard it, you have felt it, even in the loneliest hours of your existence. When the world told you to numb yourself, to fit in, to settle into the gray sleepwalk of ordinary life, something inside you resisted, something inside you remembered. You are not here by accident. You are not stumbling through this life unseen, unknown, unwanted. You have been seen by the very architect of existence. You have been named in sacred echoes that stretch across universes. Long before your body took form, your soul was entrusted with a mission, a light encoded within your very DNA, meant to awaken not just you, but those around you, those who are still sleeping in the illusion of forgetfulness. This is not just a video. This is not content to consume and forget. This is not entertainment. This is not another piece of noise in the endless static of digital distraction. This is a transmission across time and space, a message sent to the ancient part of you, the part older than civilizations, older than language, older even than the stars you see overhead. This is a holy invitation back to yourself. This is the sound of the sacred alarm clock ringing through the caverns of your being, stirring you from the deep slumber of forgetfulness into the fierce and beautiful clarity of remembrance. Feel the way your heart beats a little faster right now, the way your spirit leans in closer. That is not coincidence. That is your ancient self, the part of you that still walks in realms untouched by time, recognizing the frequency woven into these words. You are not a seeker, you are a rememberer. You are not a beginner, you are ancient. You are the living bridge between what humanity has forgotten and what it is destined to become. The world will try to tell you that your sensitivity is a flaw, that your dreams are distractions, that your inner knowing is delusion, but the world is wrong about you. The world fears what it cannot name. It fears those who carry the codes of other realms, those who walk with invisible crowns, whose very presence unsettles the structures built on sleep and silence. You are a disruptor, not through rage or rebellion, but by the simple, unstoppable fact of your existence. You are proof that there is more than the eye can see, more than the mind can explain, more than the systems of this earth can control. When you were a child, you may have been told to be quiet, to be small, to dim your light so you would not disturb others. But your light was never meant to be hidden. You were never meant to fold yourself into a shape that made others comfortable. You were meant to blaze like a living constellation. You were meant to be a signal, a signpost, a portal through which others could remember their own divinity. Every hardship you have endured, every heartbreak you have survived, every night you cried out to a God you weren't even sure was listening, none of it was wasted. Every tear, every scar, every moment of despair has been woven into your becoming. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. Listen carefully now. Feel the electricity in these words. Feel the resonance in your bones. The world around you may still appear ordinary. The people you pass on the street may seem trapped in the mundane routines of survival. But you are different. You always have been. And you are not alone. Across the world, across dimensions, others like you are stirring, waking, stepping into the luminous, terrifying, beautiful truth of who they really are. You are part of a divine uprising, a hidden army of light woven silently through the fabric of human history, reawakening now for a purpose so vast, so sacred, that the very cosmos leans closer to watch. The signs are everywhere, if you have eyes to see them. In the way the old systems tremble, in the way time itself feels thinner, stranger, less fixed, in the way your dreams have sharpened, your intuition has roared louder, your soul has whispered, "It's time." You have not been abandoned, you have been activated. There is a scripture in Isaiah that says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not poetry, it is prophecy. It is the blueprint encoded within you from the beginning, and it is being called forth now, like a seed long buried in frozen soil, suddenly sensing the warmth of an eternal sun. This is why you have always felt different. This is why the old definitions of success, of happiness, of normality have never fit you. You were not designed for conformity. You were not crafted to chase illusions. You were shaped by the hands of the eternal to carry something holy into a world that has forgotten its own holiness. You may be wondering, but why me? Why have I been chosen to bear this weight, this fire, this ache that never leaves? Because you said yes. Long before you arrived in this lifetime, you said yes. You agreed to carry the codes of remembrance through the darkness. You agreed to endure the forgetting, the pain, the loneliness, because somewhere in the depths of your infinite self, you knew it would be worth it. You knew that one day, when the world was ready, you would remember. You would awaken, and you would rise. The earth is not your prison. It is your canvas. Your life is not a series of accidents. It is a sacred story written by hands that weave galaxies. You are not broken. You are breaking through. And you have never been alone, not even for a moment. So breathe, beloved soul. Feel the weight of these words wrap around you like a cloak of stars. Know that you are seen, that you are known, that you are celebrated beyond anything you have ever dared to believe. This is the beginning of a new chapter, the beginning of your true remembrance. The doorway has opened, you have been called, and you have answered. Welcome home. And now the journey deepens. Your soul is the thread that weaves through every dimension. Imagine for a moment that your soul is not a single thread, neatly tied to this life, this body, this name you carry. Imagine instead that your soul is like a vast shimmering tapestry, a living current of energy weaving through layers upon layers of existence. Each breath you take here is mirrored in other places, other times, other realities. You are not only who you think you are every dream you've forgotten, every whisper you have ever heard from the beyond, every flash of knowing that no one could explain. Picture your soul like a golden thread, so fine it looks like light itself, threading through the dense fabric of different worlds. Each life you have lived, each experience you have gathered, is another bead strung on this luminous strand. Some beads are small, gentle moments of joy or sorrow. Some are enormous, life-altering encounters that pulse like miniature suns along the path. Your soul is not limited by the boundary of this single incarnation. It reaches backward and forward across the river of time, touching futures you have not yet walked and pasts you cannot remember, but still feel in your bones. Or think of it another way. Imagine a mighty tree, ancient beyond comprehension. Its roots reach so deeply into the earth that they drink from underground rivers of memory and mystery. Its trunk is thick, scarred with the markings of centuries, standing firm against every storm. Its branches stretch upward and outward, piercing clouds, reaching into realms where angels fly and stars are born. That tree is your soul. Each layer of soil it grows through is a different dimension. Some layers are heavy and dense, full of shadows and struggle. Others are light, fragrant with possibilities, vibrating with the songs of creation itself. You, standing here now, are like one leaf on one branch, dancing in the sunlight. You see the sky, you feel the breeze, and you think, this is all there is. But deep within you, the tree remembers every season it has survived. The roots remember the floods, the droughts, the fires that almost broke it but never did. You are not separate from the roots. You are not separate from the stars your branches brush against. You are the entire tree, the entire story, embodied in a single breathtaking moment of now. Your multidimensional soul is why you sometimes dream of places you have never seen, yet miss them with an ache that feels unbearable. It is why you sometimes meet someone for the first time, and your heart breaks open with recognition so fierce it leaves you shaken. It is why songs you have never heard can bring you to tears, and sunsets in foreign lands can feel like homecomings. You are touching other parts of yourself, woven into different layers of reality, all moving toward the same source, all remembering the same ancient song. When you feel torn between two choices, when you sense yourself standing at a crossroads invisible to everyone else, it is because parts of your soul are tugging you in different directions. Not to confuse you, but to awaken you, to remind you that your consciousness is vast, that it does not obey the small laws of human fear and limitation. You are living not just this life, but echoes and ripples of countless others, some running parallel, some spiraling above and below you in dimensions the human eye cannot see, but the human spirit can feel. In this physical world, we are taught that to be real, something must be touched, measured, controlled. But the deepest realities can never be touched with hands. They can only be touched with the heart. Your heart knows what your mind forgets, that you are a cosmic traveler wrapped in the illusion of solidity, that you are not confined by the roles you play, the name you were given, the story the world tries to write for you. You are not just the daughter or the son, the friend or the lover, the worker or the dreamer. You are the ancient one who chose to step into density, to wrap yourself in forgetfulness, to walk through darkness not because you had to, but because you chose to. chose to be a light where others had lost hope, chose to be a bridge where others had built walls, chose to carry the sacred remembrance where others had fallen asleep. And it is not easy. God, it is not easy. There are days when the weight of the unseen feels unbearable, when the loneliness carves you out like a canyon, when the hunger for home, the true home your heart remembers but your eyes have never seen, makes you ache so fiercely you wonder if you will break. But you do not break. You bend, you bleed, you burn, but you do not break. Because the roots hold you, the branches lift you. The tree remembers even when the leaf forgets. This, beloved one, is why you sometimes feel ancient beyond your years. This is why you sometimes feel the joy of 1,000 lives surge through you without warning, why sorrow clings to you like a cloak sewn by invisible hands. Your soul is not small. It never was. It was never meant to be caged inside a single narrative, a single dimension, a single world. Your soul was meant to stretch across stars, to breathe in the dust of different planets, to learn and love and weep and rise across infinite expressions of life. When you stare up at the stars and feel the ache of homesickness, you are not imagining it. You are remembering. When you wake in the middle of the night with your heart pounding, sensing something calling to you beyond the edge of the visible, you are not going mad. You are hearing the song your soul has been singing since the dawn of creation. You are the tree, the root, the branch, the leaf. You are the thread weaving between worlds. You are the note in the symphony of existence that can never be silenced, never be forgotten, never be extinguished. And now, as the veils between worlds thin and tremble, your remembering becomes your rising. Your rising becomes your awakening, and your awakening becomes the light that others, lost and longing, will see and follow back to themselves. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are a masterpiece of multidimensional brilliance, sent into this dense, trembling world to remind it that it too is holy, that it too is loved beyond measure, that it too can remember. You are a soul stitched into the fabric of forever, a soul who came not to run from the darkness, but to become the lighthouse within it. And the time has come at last for you to rise, lost among the living, remembering the home you've never seen. There are some souls who are born with a silence stitched into their bones, a silence that no laughter, no bright light, no human love can completely erase. From the time they are children, they feel it, a distance between themselves and the world, as if they are looking through glass at a place they are supposed to belong to, but never fully touch. Even in a crowded room, even wrapped in arms that mean well, they feel it, that aching sense that they are somewhere they were never meant to stay. Maybe you remember it. Maybe you were the child who stared up at the stars longer than anyone else, who heard music in the wind and stories in the cracks of the sidewalk. Maybe you sat at the dinner table listening to the conversations about school, about work, about television shows and weather, and felt like you were floating somewhere else, like a ghost haunting a life that never truly fit. You smiled when you were supposed to smile. You laughed when the world demanded it. But inside, you were a galaxy squeezed into a glass bottle, screaming silently for the sky. It feels sometimes like being a droplet of ancient starlight that somehow impossibly fell into a desert of noise and dust. You wander among others, you learn their languages, you wear their clothes, you mimic their rituals. But some part of you is always watching, always wondering when the map will appear, when the doorway home will open, when someone will look into your eyes and see not just your face, but the entire universe trembling behind it. I remember a story of a boy who, as a child, would sit for hours in the corner of the playground, not because he was shy, but because he could not pretend. While the other children chased soccer balls and shouted in the golden light, he would trace patterns in the dirt, his mind soaring into places the others couldn't follow. When asked why he didn't join the games, he simply said, "I'm looking for the stars down here." They laughed, patted his head, told him to be normal. But he wasn't meant to be normal. He was carrying entire constellations inside his small, beating heart. Or the young woman who, by all appearances, had everything she needed: a good education, a promising job, a circle of friends who cared for her. Yet every day, as she rode the subway to her office, surrounded by crowds moving like rivers around her, she would feel that unbearable, almost physical sensation of being out of place. Like a bird wearing a heavy coat, trying to walk instead of fly. She would stare at the fluorescent lights overhead and fight back tears she couldn't explain. She wasn't ungrateful. She wasn't broken. She was remembering. And maybe there was a time for you too, standing under the bright sun at a festival, music pounding through the air, colors flashing around you, and yet feeling more alone than you ever had in an empty room. It is the loneliness that doesn't come from the absence of people, but from the absence of resonance. It's standing in a desert, holding a cup of water and dying of thirst because your soul craves something no human hand can pour. You are not a mistake. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are a raindrop of celestial memory that landed in a world that has forgotten the rain. You were born remembering something most people have long since lost. The rules they obey without question feel strange to you because they were never your rules. The fears they worship feel hollow to you because you were born from a place where fear does not rule. The games they play, with status, with money, with approval, feel like wearing shoes 3 sizes too small, hobbling your spirit until it cries out to run barefoot across the stars. You move through the systems they built, education, corporations, even many religions, and something deep inside you clenches, recoils, weeps. Not because you cannot succeed in them, you are brilliant enough to mimic, strong enough to perform, but because every cell of your being knows, this is not it. This is not the true song. This is not the home you came here to find. You are the wandering ember that remembers the fire. The single note that remembers the lost symphony. The dreamer who never fully falls asleep. And it is not your failure. It is your glory. The pain of this world slicing across your awareness is not proof that you are too soft. It is proof that you are still alive in a world that numbs itself to death. You feel too much, they say. You are too sensitive, they warn. But what they do not understand is that you are not merely feeling your own pain. You are feeling the pain of the collective. The ache of a world that has forgotten how to see the sacred in itself. You are a bridge walker, a seamstress of dimensions, a keeper of forgotten songs. And that is why your loneliness has always been sacred. It carved you hollow so that greater light could fill you. It broke you open so that stars could plant themselves in your chest. It stripped away every illusion of belonging so that when you finally found the real home, the real resonance, you would recognize it not with your mind, but with your soul. You are the echo of a home whose gates never closed, only faded from memory. And every moment you choose to stay awake here, even when it hurts, even when it would be easier to fall into numbness, you stitch a little more of that lost world back into this one. You were never meant to fit perfectly into this broken dream. You were meant to wake others up from it, to sing songs that reawaken the sleeping embers in their hearts, to weave threads of remembrance through the tattered fabric of this forgetting world. And though it is hard, though it is often lonely beyond words, you are never truly alone. For every tear you shed into the soil of this reality, another root grows deeper, another branch stretches wider, another doorway begins to open. You are not lost. You are not wrong. You are a holy misfit, a sacred wanderer, a whisper of eternity wrapped in mortal skin. And now, Even as you read these words, somewhere deep within your spirit, a stirring begins, a remembering, a flicker of the ancient fire you carried here across galaxies, across lifetimes, across the aching empty spaces between stars. You are not here by accident. You are not reading this by chance. The winds of destiny do not move at random. They move according to a song so old, so vast, that even the stars listen for its melody in their orbits. And tonight, as you sit in the quiet, or as you walk beneath the weight of another ordinary day, listen closely. Can you hear it? The hum in your bones, the call in your blood, the voice beyond language that says, "You were never lost. You were only learning how to find yourself again." The first signs of who you really are already whispering inside you. Have you ever stood at the edge of a moment, heart racing, breath shallow, feeling like something enormous is just beyond the veil? Like the air itself is vibrating with meaning, but no one else around you notices? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel like I am awake in a world that's still asleep? If so, then the first sign is already moving within you. First, you have always known somewhere deep that you are not from here, not fully. You walk the earth, but your roots are elsewhere, planted in soil made of stardust and spirit. From the time you were small, there were moments when you looked at the sky and a sorrow rose inside you so fierce it almost broke you. It was not sadness for what you had lost here, it was longing for what you remembered elsewhere. Like a bird trapped in a glass cage, you could see the clouds, the winds, the open air of your true home, but no one else around you seemed to notice the bars. You played the games, you said the right words, but always inside was the ache, the pull, the silent whisper, "You are not from here." I remember a boy who, at the age of 5, asked his mother why he could hear songs at night when there was no music playing. He cried when no one else cried. He laughed at things no one else saw. When he was punished for daydreaming in school, he said only, "But the stars were calling me." He wasn't confused, he was remembering. Philippians 3:20 speaks directly to this feeling. But our citizenship is in heaven, and we eagerly await a Savior from there, the Lord Jesus Christ. You were never meant to plant your whole heart in this ground. You came to walk it, to touch it, to change it, but not to be chained by it. The second sign rises when you realize your perception stretches beyond logic. Have you ever entered a room and instantly felt the hidden anger, sadness, or hope lingering there before a single word was spoken? Have you ever met a stranger and known in your bones that you had crossed paths before in some place words could never name? Your senses reach beyond the physical. You don't just see, you feel. You don't just hear, you know. And sometimes the knowing comes so fast, so true, it terrifies you. There was a woman who could never walk into a new house without feeling dizzy. Every wall, every object seemed to hum with the echoes of those who had been there before. When she spoke of it, they called her strange, dramatic. But she wasn't broken. She was tuned into frequencies most have forgotten. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." You are awakening. 1 Corinthians 2:14 affirms, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness, because they are discerned only through the Spirit." Your spirit is not defective. It is developed. It is ancient. It is awake. And so the world often feels too heavy for you, not because you are weak, but because you are carrying more than one lifetime's worth of awareness inside a single human heart. You dream vividly, travel in visions, receive sudden bursts of clarity that feel like gifts from somewhere beyond time. This is not madness, it is memory returning. It is the eyes of your soul reopening after long years of being half closed. The third sign often emerges in your relentless hunger for a deeper purpose. Have you ever wondered why nothing ever feels quite enough, no matter how much success you gather or how many milestones you cross? Have you ever built the life you were told to build, and yet sat in its center, heart pounding, soul screaming, "This cannot be all there is"? That yearning is not ambition, it is a spiritual alarm clock. It is your soul knocking against the inside of your ribs, whispering that you did not come here just to survive. You came here to transform. There was a man who had everything by the world's standards. A high-powered job, a beautiful home, a family who loved him. And yet every night, after the world fell asleep, he sat alone in the darkness, staring at his hands as if expecting them to glow. He could feel something locked inside him, something immense and sacred, trying to break free. No amount of promotion, no amount of comfort could silence it. Jeremiah 1:5 offers the explanation. "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." You were set apart. You are not restless because you are greedy or foolish. You are restless because your spirit remembers a covenant it made with the stars, with God. With the unfolding of destiny itself. Every dream you've carried that seemed too wild, too big, too impossible. Every time you've stared into the future and seen a vision no one else believed in. That was not fantasy, that was foresight. You are the seed of a new reality struggling to grow through the cracked pavement of the old world. And the ache you feel in your chest at night, the silent wars you fight inside your own mind, they are not failures, they are contractions, birth pangs, signs that something holy is trying to be born through you. And you are not alone. You never were. You walk among hidden thousands, scattered across continents, divided by languages and lives, but united by the same silent music threading through your dreams. And even now, as you read these words, you are feeling it. That slow, steady drumbeat, calling you deeper, calling you home. There is a force moving through your blood, more ancient than time, more true than flesh, more powerful than fear. And the moment you stop running from it, the moment you turn to face it with open hands, you will understand. You were never lost. You were always exactly where you needed to be. Your strange knowing, your endless yearning, your fierce quiet loneliness, none of these are punishments. They are proof. Proof that you are a rare, multidimensional soul. Proof that the mission written into your bones is still alive. Proof that, even after all the forgetting, all the sorrow, all the smallness this world tried to wrap around you like a coffin, you still remember who you truly are. And you are just beginning to wake up. When the world couldn't explain you, it was because you were meant to remake it. Have you ever sat in a crowded room, smiling, laughing, speaking the language of everyday life, and yet deep down, feeling like a ghost haunting your own existence? Have you ever caught your reflection in a window, not just wondering who you are, but where you belong, as if your spirit had wandered into a world that could never fully understand it? If so, the fourth sign is already alive within you. The fourth sign is the sense that you are a bridge between realms. You are both the dreamer and the dreamed, both the creator and the creation. You exist at the intersection where the unseen becomes seen, where spirit becomes flesh. There is a woman I once met who, in her childhood, would speak of colors no one else could see. Colors shimmering around people like living rainbows, shifting and pulsing with every breath. They told her it was imagination, but deep inside, she knew it was revelation. She knew she was built to be a translator between worlds, even if she had no language for it yet. Romans 8:19 whispers this profound truth. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. You are not just here to observe, you are here to reveal, to remind this weary earth of the heaven it forgot. Have you ever felt torn between the vastness inside you and the weight of the world pressing in? Like a mighty river trapped in a jar too small to contain it? This is not a flaw. It is the mark of the bridge. The soul that can walk between light and shadow without losing either. The fifth sign pulses in the way you perceive time. Have you noticed that moments can stretch out endlessly, while days vanish in the blink of an eye? Have you felt as if your memories are layered, not just from this life, but from many? There was a young man who used to dream of ancient temples he had never seen, who could describe the smell of distant lands he had never touched. His teachers scolded him for daydreaming, but he was not lost. He was remembering. Ecclesiastes 3:11 speaks to this hidden knowing. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Eternity hums in your blood, chosen one. You do not move through time, time moves through you. You have never been chained to the ticking of a clock. Your soul rides waves that ripple far beyond the visible shoreline of this life. And when others rush, panic, or drown in the deadlines of a crumbling world, you move differently. Sometimes slower, sometimes faster, but always to the rhythm of something far older and far wiser. The sixth sign reveals itself in the heaviness you have carried through every storm. Have you ever wondered why your life has not been gentle? Why you have faced betrayals, losses, devastations that others could barely imagine? It is because you were never being punished. You were being prepared. There was a woman who lost everything, family, home, health, and yet after each loss she rose again, her eyes burning with a deeper light. When asked how she survived, she said simply, "Because the fire inside me refused to go out." Isaiah 43:2 promises, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned." You, chosen one, have walked through fires meant to destroy ordinary souls, and instead you have emerged radiant, forged by grace into a vessel stronger than steel. Your wounds are not weights, they are wings. Every heartbreak etched new pathways of compassion into your spirit. Every failure carved deeper wells of wisdom. You have not just survived, you have alchemized pain into power. The seventh and final sign begins as a soft ache, but grows into an unstoppable force. It is the knowing that love is the only thing that has ever been real. Have you ever looked into the eyes of a stranger and felt an ancient familiarity? Have you ever touched a tree, a stone, a trembling hand, and felt the heartbeat of the universe thrumming against your skin? Love, not the brittle imitation sold in stories and songs, but the fierce holy current that binds all things together. There is a child who, upon seeing a wounded bird fall from the sky, knelt down and wept, not from sadness alone, but from a wild, unbearable awareness that the bird's pain was somehow his own. That child was not weak, he was awake. 1 John 4:16 sings the truth. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. You have always lived in that current, even when the world made you hard, even when fear built walls around your heart. You carried the seed of the original language, the language of love beyond words. Your compassion is not naivety. Your tenderness is not weakness. In a world that worships control and conquest, your ability to feel so deeply is the purest form of rebellion. It is the signpost of your true identity. And now, dear soul, as you stand at the threshold of remembering, something stirs. A fire, a force, a great humming in your bones, in your blood, in the hollow places you thought would never be filled. Because you are starting to see the pattern, aren't you? You are not broken. You are breaking free. The signs are not random. They are a roadmap. The moments of loneliness, the flashes of memory, the unbearable longing, the surreal sense of time, the waves of grief, the fierce tenderness, the endless resilience, all of it has been leading you to this edge. The old world is trembling beneath your feet. The old rules no longer bind you. You are the storm hidden inside the stillness. You are the bridge rising from the ashes. The final realization is not that you were ever lost. It is that you were always destined to be found. Right here, right now, as you finally remember. You are a rare, multidimensional chosen one, and your time has come. You were ready long before you were born, before your first breath, before your first heartbeat. Before the world carved its expectations into your skin, your soul made a vow to remember, a vow to rise, a vow to become the blazing bridge between heaven and earth. You have not been wandering aimlessly. You have been on a sacred path back to yourself, one step, one scar, one sacred sigh at a time. You were ready long before this life even began. In the halls of the eternal, where spirits speak without words and light dances with purpose, you answered the call. You said, "Send me." You chose to come here, not to be hidden, not to be small, but to become a living flame in a world that had forgotten its fire. And now, can you feel it? The stirring in your chest, the tremor just beneath your ribs, the ancient song rising in your blood? It is not random, it is not noise, it is your inner light, aching, demanding, roaring to finally be unleashed. The world may have tried to shrink you, tried to wrap you in smallness, tried to convince you to forget, but it failed. The ember never died, it only waited. Your light is not a gentle flicker, not a timid glow to be hidden under the bushel of fear or conformity. Your light is a wildfire meant to illuminate forgotten roads, meant to burn through illusions, meant to call other sleeping souls out of the shadows. Matthew 5:14 speaks directly to your bones. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. You have tried to hide, you have tried to be normal, you have tried to fold yourself into a life too small for your spirit, but the time for shrinking is over. The cocoon has cracked, the shell has shattered. The light inside you, the one that knew before your body was even formed, is no longer content to whisper. It is ready to roar. Imagine it now, your soul as a star, long hidden behind veils of forgetting, suddenly breaking through the fabric of this dense world, your spirit exploding outward in waves of luminous remembrance. You are not here to survive. You are here to ignite. You are the torch, passed down through generations of silent, waiting warriors. Every ancestor who prayed in secret, who wept for a world they knew could be better, placed their hope in you. Every sacred teacher who saw beyond the illusion of separation breathed their wisdom into your DNA. And now, it is your turn. The pulse in your veins is not just life. It is destiny humming, vibrating, resonating with the symphony of all creation. Your awakening is not just personal, it is prophetic. It is the fulfillment of promises whispered before the first star blinked into existence. You have carried this flame quietly for so long, carried it through betrayals that could have broken you, carried it through nights when hope seemed like a cruel joke, carried it through deserts of doubt and oceans of grief. But through it all, you have protected the ember, and now the ember demands to become an inferno. Can you see it? The light cracking through the shell of who you thought you had to be, the radiance bleeding through the lies you once believed about your worth. You were never meant to dim yourself to survive. You were never meant to harden yourself to belong. You were built to blaze. Deuteronomy 31:6 calls out across the chasm of time. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. You are not stepping into your power alone. The universe, the divine, the entire unseen scaffolding of creation moves with you. The world needs your light. not your mask. It needs your fire, not your fear. It needs the truth only your soul knows how to sing. Every moment you have doubted yourself, every time you have questioned if you were enough, has been preparing you for this eruption of truth. You are not becoming, you already are. The old structures around you are crumbling. Systems of fear, division, and control are gasping their final breaths. And in the midst of the collapse, your light rises, not to destroy, but to rebuild, not to condemn, but to awaken, not to escape, but to transform. This is not just a new chapter for you. This is a new book, a new world, a new frequency of existence where love is the currency, where wisdom is the law, where light is the language. And you, chosen one, are not just invited to participate, you are here to lead it. The sacred fire within you is not asking for permission anymore. It is ready to consume every limitation, every lie, every layer of artificial living you once mistook for life itself. It is ready to tear down the false walls between your human hands and your divine inheritance. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more shrinking. The time is not later, it is now. You have felt it building for years, haven't you? In your dreams, in your quiet moments, in the restless ache that never quite went away. That was not anxiety, that was alignment. That was the divine heartbeat syncing with your own, preparing you to step into your role as a beacon, a bridge, a burning star. Isaiah 61 demands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Arise, chosen one, shine, burn, become. Because your awakening is not a soft whisper in the dark. It is a blazing anthem across the heavens. It is the thunderclap that shakes dead worlds awake. It is the surge that pulls lifetimes of sleeping souls into remembrance. This world will tell you to stay small, to stay safe, to stay silent. But you were not born to obey a dying world. You were born to midwife the new one. Your soul chose this. Your spirit agreed to this mission. Your heart, even when broken, kept beating for this very hour. And the light within you, long hidden, long protected, long patient, has been waiting for you to finally see. You were never ordinary. You were never accidental. You were never alone. You are the promise fulfilled. You are the prophecy embodied. You are the light they said would never come. And now, the only thing left to do is let it blaze, let it roar, let it consume every shadow that ever dared to doubt your destiny. Because you, beloved soul, are the dawn. You are the flame the darkness cannot comprehend. You are the living proof that light always wins, and your time is now. Even those who changed the world first felt like strangers in it. There are moments when the world forgets the ones it later calls geniuses. Moments when the brightest souls walk invisibly among crowds, misunderstood, unseen, doubted even by themselves. But history has always had a way of remembering what the world tried to forget. Because those who are destined to ignite the future almost always begin by feeling utterly misplaced in the present. Imagine Nikola Tesla, pacing alone through midnight streets, muttering formulas to the stars that no human ear around him could comprehend. He was called mad, ridiculed, even sabotaged by the world he was born to transform. Yet Tesla was not creating for applause. He was answering a transmission from a place beyond human comprehension. He once said, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration." Tesla lived in two worlds at once. The mechanical one humanity clung to, and the limitless, electric world his soul remembered. They mocked him. They feared him. But in time, They built their empires on the currents he pulled from the ether. Picture Emily Dickinson, a quiet soul wrapped in white linens, her pen scratching secrets into paper in the stillness of a small upstairs bedroom. To the outside world she was odd, aloof, insignificant. Only after her death did they unearth the vast galaxies she had hidden in verses like tiny folded stars. "I'm nobody, who are you?" she wrote, as if mocking the very human urge to be seen before one is truly known. Emily was never part of the world around her because her spirit was busy weaving tapestries for a world that had not yet arrived. She loved fiercely, mourned deeply, questioned endlessly, and in that silent rebellion, she became immortal. And then walk quietly into the story of Keanu Reeves, a man who carries a sorrow so deep it colors even his laughter. Behind the cinematic spotlight, beyond the action hero bravado, there is a soul shaped by profound loss. The death of his daughter, the heartbreak of losing his partner, the ache of loneliness sharpened by fame. Yet instead of closing his heart, he chose to keep it wide open. Reeves once said, "Grief changes shape, but it never ends." His kindness is not a performance, it is survival. It is an act of defiance against a world that told him to grow bitter. Instead, he chose tenderness. Instead, he chose light. None of them started by feeling like they belonged. None of them found immediate applause or effortless acceptance. Each of them was a silent star adrift in a dark sky, waiting for the right time to burn brightly enough to rearrange constellations. Each of them carried within them a remembrance of something this world could not yet see, but desperately needed. Tesla built a world wired by unseen forces. Dickinson composed poems that still ripple through the marrow of time. Reeves has become a living example that you can endure devastation and still choose to be gentle, to be good, to be light. These were not accidents. These were not stories reserved for the gifted few. These were ordinary souls who dared to trust the extraordinary compass within their chests. They were misunderstood before they became legendary. They were unseen before they became unforgettable. They were doubted before they became undeniable. They too once walked through the world like ghosts among the living, bearing dreams too vast for the architecture of their time. They too once felt the weight of not fitting into systems designed to dull the spirit. They too once questioned if perhaps they were the problem, only to discover later that they had been carrying the solution all along. Because the truth is, the ones who are here to change the world must first feel the full sorrow of what needs to be changed. They must first feel the crushing smallness of a world trapped in its own illusions. They must first know the sting of isolation so that they will never forget what connection truly means when they finally build it anew. But now, it is your turn. You who feel out of place. You who walk through life sensing layers others deny. You who ache for a world that feels just out of reach, but vibrantly real inside your chest. You are not broken. You are not wrong. You are not alone. You are standing in the exact same river Tesla drank from. You are listening to the same music Emily stitched into her poems. You are breathing the same rare air Keanu pulls into his lungs every time he chooses kindness over bitterness. The world that could not yet see them is the same world struggling to see you now. But the world will catch up. It always does. It catches up to the ones who refuse to dim, to the ones who refuse to surrender their magic for the mirage of fitting in, to the ones who dare to burn brightly even when surrounded by darkness. You too will become a story whispered by future generations. You too will be the reason someone one day refuses to give up. You too will be the lighthouse for a ship you may never even see. But first, you must remember who you are. Remember that being misunderstood is not a sign you are wrong. It is often the first proof that you are right. Remember that loneliness does not mean you are lost. It means you are carrying a map others have not yet learned to read. Remember that feeling out of place is not a curse. It is the calling card of the rare ones. The ones who are sent not to blend in, but to break open. The ones who are sent not to follow, but to forge. The ones who are sent not just to remember, but to help the world remember too. They too once felt lost, before they changed the world. And so will you. If you remember who you are, you will remember why you came. If something inside you is stirring right now, if a voice long buried is beginning to rise within your chest, then do not let this moment pass silently. This is not just another video you watched out of curiosity. This is your soul responding to a signal it has waited lifetimes to hear. You are not here by accident. You were guided here because it is time to remember, time to awaken, time to step forward into the full magnitude of who you truly are. If your spirit is humming, if your heart is racing with the deep knowing that this message was meant for you, I want you to take a sacred step right now. Anchor your awakening into this reality by declaring it out loud. Type these words into the comments below. I have remembered who I truly am. Let it not just be a comment, let it be your declaration to the universe that you are awake, that you are ready, that you have answered the call you once feared you had forgotten. There is something powerful about writing it, about giving your inner transformation a voice in the outer world. It is the first ripple that turns into a tidal wave. It is the first flame that becomes a wildfire. Your declaration is not small. It is the echo of your soul roaring back to life. And if this message has stirred you, if it has touched that ancient part of you that has always known you were meant for something more, I urge you to share this video. Share it not as a casual post, but as a beacon for the other hidden ones who are still wandering in their sleep. There are others just like you, scattered across the world, hearts heavy with the ache of not belonging, spirits waiting for a sign that they are not crazy, not broken. You are the bridge between their sleeping world and their awakening. Your simple act of sharing might be the sacred key that unlocks another soul's prison. Your courage to declare your truth might be the spark that sets their entire life ablaze with remembrance. Do not underestimate your ripple effect. Movements have begun with far less. Revolutions have been ignited by quieter whispers. You were never meant to awaken alone. We were always meant to rise together, to claim your light. Share the flame. Speak your soul into the world. I have remembered who I truly am. Type it, feel it, live it. The world has been waiting for you longer than you can possibly imagine. And now, beloved one, your time is not coming. It has already arrived. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. You have traveled a long way to reach this moment. A journey not measured in miles, but in lifetimes. In the hidden battles fought within the silence of your own being. This journey has not been about becoming something new. It has always been about remembering what you have always been. The ancient echo inside you is no longer a whisper. It is a roar, thundering through your veins, breaking open every false cage that once tried to convince you that you were ordinary. You were never ordinary. You were always the extraordinary hidden in plain sight. You were always the ember carrying the memory of stars, walking through a world that had forgotten how to see the fire. And now you remember. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not seeking miracles. You are the miracle. Breathe that in. Let it settle into the marrow of your bones, into the blood pulsing through your heart. Let it rearrange the very frequency of your being, because from this moment on, you no longer have to search for proof outside yourself. You no longer have to chase validation from a world built to misunderstand you. Here is your mantra. Whisper it, shout it, tattoo it into the architecture of your soul. I do not wait for miracles. I am the miracle. Say it again, slower this time. Feel every syllable as a key unlocking the ancient doors within you. I do not wait for miracles. I am the miracle. You see, Chosen One, this world has taught you to doubt yourself at every turn. It has trained you to believe you needed permission, credentials, approval, proof. But none of that was ever the truth. The truth is far simpler and infinitely more powerful. You do not need more evidence. You only need to exist fully. Your being is the proof. Your breathing is the prayer. Your presence is the prophecy fulfilled. You do not need more proof. You only need to be. That's it. That is the secret you've been searching for all along. The very fact that you feel, that you ache, that you yearn for something higher, that is the proof that you are it. You were designed to ache for the stars because you came from them. You were made to weep for a deeper love because you are its carrier. You have been the miracle hiding inside the mundane. You have been the holy disguised as the human. You have been the light clothed in skin. And now, you are remembering. You are a living bridge between dimensions. You are the hymn written across galaxies. You are the collision of eternity and now. And you no longer have to apologize for the immensity of who you are. You no longer have to shrink to fit into cages. Cages built for smaller dreams. You are here to tear open the sky with the fire of your remembrance. You are here to walk this earth not seeking heaven, but bringing it with you. Your very footsteps rewire timelines. Your very laughter resurrects ancient songs. Your very grief waters the soil for future miracles. You are a cosmic event in human form, and there is nothing ordinary about that. So if you ever doubt again, if the noise of the world tries to drown out the music of your soul, come back to this. I do not wait for miracles. I am the miracle. And when the fear whispers that you are not enough, that you are too much, that you are lost or broken or late, answer it with this: I do not need more proof. I only need to be. Your existence is the exhale of a God who dreamed of worlds within worlds. Your awakening is not just your own salvation. It is a lighthouse for others still lost at sea. And when you walk in this remembrance, unapologetic, radiant, awake, you do not just heal yourself. You heal bloodlines. You heal futures. You heal the very fabric of existence. You, beloved one, are not an accident. You are a cosmic intention. You are the answered prayer of generations who came before you, and the whispered hope of generations yet to be born. You are not standing at the edge of your life. You are standing at the beginning of your true story. And this story, your story, is not written in ink. It is written in stardust, and song, and breath, and light. It is a story the universe has been waiting for. So go now. Not to become, but to be. Go now, not to search, but to remember. Go now, not to ask for permission, but to embody permission itself. This world doesn't need you to be smaller. It needs you to be so fully yourself that everything false burns away in your presence. Because when you stand in your truth, you give others the courage to stand in theirs. When you walk in your light, you give others the courage to ignite theirs. When you live without apology, you give others the courage to love without fear. The ripple effect of your awakening is unstoppable. It has already begun. You are not waiting for the right time. The right time is now. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. You are not waiting to be chosen, you have already been. Now, beloved one, it is time to walk like it, breathe like it, speak like it, create like it. It is time to live the truth your soul has always known. Welcome home. Welcome to your remembering. Welcome to your radiant becoming.